Economic development. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to learn about India's economic policy. That includes a study of the mixed economy, 5-year plans, and their successes and failures, nationalization of banks, 20-point program, mill workers, strike, and especially the new economic policy of 1991. Mixed economy. Brainstorming about the kind of economy we would adopt after independence started much before India got independence. Our Prime Minister Pandit Nehru adopted the middle path rather than taking recourse to any extremes. Some countries had adopted capitalism, while some had adopted socialism. Each type of economy had its own advantages. In a capitalist system, the means of production are privately owned. In a socialist economy, the means of production are owned by the state in the name of the society. A mixed economy works both in the private and the public sector. In order to achieve economic development of modern India, we give preference to a model of mixed economy. We can see 3 paths in this kind of economy. For mixed economy to run smoothly, there is a need for coordination between the private sector and the public sector. This system aims at maximization of production and popular participation on large scale. An effort has been made in this system to bring together the good aspects of both the capitalist and the socialist systems. 5-year plan. The colonial power had exploited India economically. The country faced severe problems like poverty, unemployment, population growth, low standards of living, low productivity of agriculture and industries, and backwardness in the fields of knowledge, science and technology. Planning was essential to solve these problems. India established the Planning Commission in 1950, with Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru as its chairman. It formulated India's 5-year plans that included rural and agricultural development, balanced industrialization, provision for a minimum standard of living, and economic development consistent with democratic ideals. It focused on people's participation and individual development in the formulation and implementation of the 5-year plans. Fundamental principle of planning. A general principle of planning is the proportionate distribution of the resources of a country and the appropriate use of the human resources to fulfill the needs of the people. Goals of plan. The general goals of the economic planning of India are: increase in the national income, bring about rapid industrialization by focusing on the basic industries, bring about an increase in agricultural production so that the country becomes self-sufficient in food grain production, use the human resource in the country optimally by making increasing employment opportunities available, remove the inequality in earnings and wealth, maintain stable prices of commodities, bring the growth in population under control by family planning, improve the standards of living by eradicating poverty, develop social services, make the economy self-sufficient. First 5-year plan, 1951 to 1956. The expenditure in this plan was primarily on agriculture, social development, irrigation and flood control, sources of energy, rural and small industries, heavy industries and minerals, transport and communication, education and health. This plan consisted of measures to lay the foundation of planned economic development. Second 5-year plan, 1956 to 1961. This plan had ambitious goals of industrialization, iron and steel industries at Durgapur, Bhilai and Rourkela, chemical fertilizers plant at Sindri, rail engine factory at Chittaranjan, factory of railway bogies at Perambur, shipbuilding factory at Vishakhapatnam, and other heavy industries were set up in the public sector. Huge dams like Bhakra Nangal, Damodar, etc. were built to make water available for agriculture. It led to increase in the national income. Third Five-Year Plan, 1961 to 1966. This plan was aimed at bringing about a balance in industries and agriculture. The other goals of the plan included increase in national income, heavy industries, development in transport and mineral industry, alleviation of poverty, and to expand the opportunities for employment. Fourth Five-Year Plan, 1969 to 1974. The intentions behind setting the goals of this plan were that India should become self-reliant, government should develop the basic industries, increase the speed of economic development, and pay attention to establishing a socialistic pattern of society. 14 major banks in the country were nationalized. This plan did not succeed as expected. The economy had to bear the burden of the Bangladesh war. The expenditure over the refugees had to be borne as well. The Indian economy suffered due to the pay rise of government and railway servants and rise in the prices of petrol in the international market. Fifth Five-Year Plan, 1974 to 1979. This plan was designed with the goal of making India economically self-sufficient by alleviating poverty. The objectives of the fifth plan were as follows: increase the national income, make large-scale employment available, supply education, nutritious food and drinking water, to make facilities of medical treatment available in rural areas, to supply electricity and means of communication, implement social welfare schemes on a wide scale, bring about the development of agriculture, increase the basic industries, purchase food grains and other life-sustaining goods by monopoly purchase, and make them available to the poor at reasonable prices through a public distribution system. Sixth Five-Year Plan, 1980 to 1985. This plan also stressed upon alleviation of poverty and employment generation. This plan had the following objectives: significantly increase the growth rate in the economy, reduce the rate of poverty and unemployment, shape and implement a population policy so that people adopted the small family norm voluntarily, and thus keep the population under control. Seventh Five-Year Plan, 1985 to 1990. This plan laid stress on food, employment and productivity. The objectives of the plan included development, modernization, self-reliance, social justice, improving the techniques of production to achieve an yearly increase in national income of 5% and increase food grain production. Eighth Five-Year Plan, 1992 to 1997. This plan gave a lot of scope to the private sector. The plan had the following features: to maintain the rate of growth in national income at 6.5%, to control the growth of population, to encourage the program of family planning, to remove illiteracy by expansion of primary education. Ninth Five-Year Plan, 1997 to 2002. This plan focused on agriculture and rural development. The objectives of this plan were to increase the rate of growth of the economy, create healthy competition in the infrastructure sector, give a new direction to industrial policy for ensuring foreign investment. Nationalization of banks. During the tenure of Prime Ministers Pandit Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri, banking was a monopoly of the private sector. These banks represented different industrial groups. The directors of these banks were working towards developing industrial sector and increasing its profits. In order to stop this, the government nationalized the Imperial Bank in 1955, and it got converted into State Bank of India. The bank opened several branches all over the country in a short while and played a major role in development. Background of nationalization. India had adopted a mixed economy after independence. Nationalization of banks were essential to cover the deficits if they occurred while implementing different schemes. Also, the profits of these banks would come into the government treasury once they were nationalized. Along with this, the policy of developing small industries and pharmaceutical industries had to be implemented. Lal Bahadur Shastri undertook the experiment of the Green Revolution in order to overcome food shortages and drought. During the tenure of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, Congress Forum for Socialist Action, a group in the Congress Party inspired by socialist ideas, made a demand for nationalization of commercial banks. Even the Communist Party supported this demand. 20-Point Program. Prime Minister Indira Gandhi announced the 20-Point Program on 1st July 1975 and resolved to make efforts towards rapidly becoming a developed nation. The main provisions of the 20-Point Program are: land ceiling for cities and agricultural land, equal division of wealth, minimum wages for workers, increase in water conservation schemes, workers' participation in industry, national training scheme, freezing bonded labor, prevention of tax evasion, economic crimes and smuggling, regulation of prices of basic necessities, improvement in the public distribution system, improvement in the textile industry by developing handloom sector, waiving loans for weaker sections, housing, communication facilities, making educational equipment available to schools. Issues of workers. The first textile mill was started in Mumbai on 11th July 1851 by Kawasji Davar. Eventually, mills started in Dadar, Paral, Bhayakala, Shivadi, Prabhadevi and Worli. This part came to be known as Girangaon or Town of Mills. In the 1980s, the increasing unrest among workers was due to the economic conditions in other sectors. In some industries, the wages of the workers were increasing. They were also getting more amounts as bonus. They were getting more facilities than the textile mill workers. In the Diwali of 1981, the workers expected to get a bonus of 20%. The Rashtriya Mill Mazdoor Sangh, which was negotiating with the employers, agreed upon 8 to 17% bonus without taking the workers into confidence. The cut in the bonus provided to be the cause of unrest. Some workers went to Dr. Datta Samant. They asked him to accept their leadership. Workers of 65 mills came together and Dr. Datta Samant led the strike. On 18th January 1982, 2.5 lakh workers went on a strike. Girangaon mills stopped running, making it seem like Mumbai's heart stopped throbbing. The Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Barrister A.R. Anatulya, set up a committee to solve this issue. Later, Babasaheb Bhosle became the Chief Minister of Maharashtra state. He insisted that, as per law, he would talk only with the Rashtriya Mill Mazdoor Sangh. Dr. Datta Samant demanded that the law be revoked. New economic policy. The year 1991 is very important in the history of modern India. After the 10th general elections, P.V. Narasimha Rao became the Prime Minister of India. With Dr. Manmohan Singh as Finance Minister, he adopted the new economic policy of linking India's economy with the global economy. For this, fundamental changes were brought about in the Indian economy. Indian economy was brought in tune with the global mainstream. During this period, Indian economy was in a crisis situation. Before the P.V. Narasimha Rao government took charge, Chandrasekhar was the Prime Minister. During his tenure, the rate of inflation was 17%. Economic growth rate had gone down by 1.1%. India had foreign exchange reserves only enough to last for imports for a week. It had become difficult to pay back its loan and even give the interest on it. In May 1991, the government had tried to control the situation by selling some of its gold reserves and by mortgaging some. Before the Chandrasekhar government, The VP Singh government had incurred a liability of over 10,000 crore rupees on the economy by waiving off the loans of all farmers. The proportion of internal loans of central and state governments together to the gross domestic product was 55%. In 1980 to 1981, foreign loan was $2,350 crore. It increased to $8,380 crore in 1990 to 1991. Remedies. P.V. Narasimha Rao appointed Dr. Manmohan Singh as Finance Minister in order to find a way out of this situation. Dr. Singh undertook many corrective measures. The situation began to change. He removed the restrictions on foreign investments. He restricted the license system to 18 industries. In view of the increasing losses in the public sector industries, he opened up the public sector for investment by private industries. In order to bring the share market under control, he established the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, in 1992. National Stock Exchange was computerized. He gave priority to remove the spectre of recession. Foreign investment in India grew during the first tenure of Dr. Manmohan Singh as Finance Minister. India could recover the gold mortgage with the Bank of England. The government got the support of the capitalist class as well as the middle class. As the government opened up the telecom sector, mobile phone services started all over the country. Dr. Manmohan Singh signed the agreement with the World Trade Organization and launched the policy of privatization, liberalization and globalization. World Trade Organization. In 1995, India became a member of the World Trade Organization, WTO. The organization had the following objectives: to free trade between countries, to put to an end all those discriminatory laws, restrictions, rules and policies that are hurdles in the way of international free trade, and to regulate global trade with the help of a formal multi-party mechanism. General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, existed at the international level before the World Trade Organization came into being. It regulated commerce. In India, there were opposed extreme views about the World Trade Organization, yet India decided to take its membership. The provisions of the World Trade Organization are regarding grants, import-export, foreign investment, agriculture, technology and services. The sectors of electricity, water transportation, education and health rapidly commercialized since India became a member of the World Trade Organization. India signed the South Asian Preferential Trade Agreement, SAPTA, SAPTA, along the lines of the World Trade Organization. India removed the import restrictions on several commodities for SAARC countries. India also gave discounts on import duties. India opened up the insurance sector to private and foreign investment. Summary. You have learned that in a capitalist system, the means of production are privately owned. In a socialist economy, the means of production are owned by the state in the name of the society. A mixed economy works both in the private and the public sector. For mixed economy to run smoothly, there is a need for coordination between the private sector and the public sector. India established the Planning Commission in 1950 with Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru as its chairman. A general principle of planning is the proportionate distribution of the resources of a country and the appropriate use of the human resources to fulfill the needs of the people. Nationalization of banks was essential to cover the deficits if they occurred while implementing different schemes. Lal Bahadur Shastri undertook the experiment of the Green Revolution in order to overcome food shortages and drought. Prime Minister Indira Gandhi announced the 20-point program on 1st July 1975 and resolved to make efforts towards rapidly becoming a developed nation. With Dr. Manmohan Singh as Finance Minister, he adopted the new economic policy of linking India's economy with the global economy. Foreign investment in India grew during the first tenure of Dr. Manmohan Singh as Finance Minister.